Okay. Eric, anyone else outside? Is anyone else coming? No. Well, welcome everyone. And for those who are streaming, welcome. And for those of you who are joining us from Long Island today, welcome as well from B'nai Israel. And shalom to everyone. So, this is going to be a little bit different for those of you who've ever done this with me before. I think Suzanne has, right? Yeah, Suzanne has. And it's not just only going to be meditation, but it's going to be what's called contemplative meditation. So, on these pages, if you want to take them home with you later on to kind of figure out what in the world we're doing here after you do it, it might help. But let's look at this for a second. And by the way, I think if you can post it online, the first page, okay, contemplative meditation. Contemplative meditation is a profound practice that involves focused reflection and engagement with specific thoughts or questions, aiming to gain deeper insights and spiritual understanding. So, what does it mean to contemplate something? It would mean what? To think about it. Okay. So contemplative meditation is an intense way of thinking about something. All right, let's try this for 1 second. Think of one word. Okay, think of a word. Okay, forget, now just don't think about it. But you're going to go back to the one word you chose, and I don't have a second hand. I do have a second hand. I'm going to ask that you think of that one word for 5 seconds. Now, 5 seconds seems like a short period of time, right? But let's see how many of you can actually think about only that word, that one word, and if you want to, you can close your eyes and actually see the word inside your mind for 5 seconds, okay? Everyone have a word? Okay, and it doesn't have to be rabbi, it's okay, but you don't think about me all the time, okay. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, how many of you were able to hold that thought for that whole time? Wow, you are excellent focusers. Excellent, excellent, that's a good start. Well, that's in a sense, in a simplified way, called contemplative medication. Yeah, really, okay. Okay. But the fact is that you are focusing on one thing alone, which is really a very difficult thing for most people to be able to do, especially for a long period of time. So we're going to bring this to another stage. What does it mean to have a thought? Okay, so now I'm not going to go to food. Okay, I was going to just go to food thought, but that's not a good thing to do right now, okay? We still have too many hours left about food. Okay, so let's leave that aside. Okay, I'm assuming that all of us have something we need to be doing later today. Okay, it could be eating, it could be driving home, it could be going to sleep, whatever it is. Okay, think of one thought, and now we're going to hold that one thought for now 15 seconds. Okay, just that one thought. Now, what that means is you can go over that, come back to it. Let's say I'm going to be going home tonight after the breakfast. So I'm thinking I'm going home after breakfast, going home with the breakfast, going home with the breakfast. Now I see my car, I'm driving home. Okay, and you're going to be absorbed in that one thought now for 15 seconds. So on your mark, get set, go. Okay, that's called a contemplation of now a thought. How many of you are able to sort of stick on that for a bit? Okay, wow, what a group here. How many of you fell asleep already? Okay, now, that's excellent. So that's called contemplation. But what it really means, beyond just this simple activity, so to speak, is to then begin to delve into one thing only. But the fact is that, guess what? For the most part, our minds do what? Our minds do what, George? They wander. Okay. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about going home tonight, and all of a sudden, oh my God, bagels and lox. Okay, that passed through my mind. Okay. So I got to leave the bagels and lox and go back to what? Going home. I got to go back to that thought. I've had the privilege over the years of actually attending a number of meditation retreats. And one of them, they taught the following meditation idea. And we're not going to go outside now and lie in the grass, okay, because who knows what's on the grass, okay. But on the other hand, if you were to lie on grass outdoors and look up into the sky, and assuming sometimes we don't have any clouds here in South Florida, but assuming that there are clouds going by, okay, and focus on the blue of the sky. And every time a cloud goes by, do not follow that cloud. That's a very hard thing to do. If you ever want to try it, okay, it might sound, oh God, what is that, Rabbi Kid? That's easy to do. It is very hard to do because immediately our eyes are trained by biology, I guess you'd call it, to scan. Even though Judy says I don't scan when I'm driving, but I think I do. Okay, that's a whole nother discussion. I'm sorry, Judy, if I offended you. Okay, anyway, so, but your eyes are going to catch the cloud, but the key is, and this is a meditation on the expanse of the sky that this teacher taught this whole group at this retreat, is to simply focus on the blue sky, okay, and not allow your mind to wander. I don't know, how many of you have actually done meditation? Okay, have you gone on meditation retreats? Okay, did you ever do a 5-day silent retreat? I did. Imagine being silent for 5 days, Eric. He's shaking his head, it's impossible. Well, actually I was, for 5 days. When I was in line at the food, I really wanted to tell this person to get out of my way and stop taking my food before I did, but I got to be silent. Okay. Anyway, is that I did a couple of 5-day silent retreats. And the point is this, when you're not talking, you're not distracted. When you're focusing on, in that case, it was focusing on my breathing in and out, or actually another one was, if you ever done this, walking meditations, okay? And imagine spending a half hour focusing on your feet as the muscles in your feet move across the floor. And start to feel each one of the muscles move in various ways. Again, thoughts come into your mind, including the one, boy, this is really stupid, okay. But guess what? You got to discard, you go back to let the clouds go by. And then there, hi Brad, take a seat. There are also, we did eating meditations, okay. So they would give each person in the group a grape. And I don't know about you, put a grape in my mouth, immediately I bite down on it, that's it, it's gone, okay? But imagine spending 5 minutes with the one grape in your mouth, feeling it, rolling it around, tasting it, touching it, all that, and then when you bite into it, continue. I don't know, I must admit, I have a sin with chocolate. I so desperately, especially when it's really good chocolate, like Lind, L-I-N-D-T or something like that, Belgian chocolate, I really just don't want to start chewing it and see it bye-bye. But I can't help it. I immediately start to bite it, and before I know it, it's gone, right? And the point of a contemplative meditation, which we're going to do in a moment, is it enables us to focus on, use our minds to focus, and not be wandering all over the place, okay? Again, it sort of like goes back to my actually last night's sermon and this morning's sermon. Most of us are thinking about getting to the place we want to get to and not how we got there. And that's the sad part, because guess what? Then we're missing out on most of life, okay? Many decades ago, I hope you don't mind me sharing these personal stories, but I think they're worthwhile. We had a friend celebrating at that time, okay, we were all young, our 50th birthday party. And we went to this nice inn on Long Island, and he was a bit of a show-off. He should rest in peace. I shouldn't talk about him since he's passed, but I didn't give you his name, so I don't have to worry about committing a sin. Anyway, he was a bit of a show-off. So he ordered this bottle of champagne to celebrate his birthday. I mean, he could have ordered a 2-liter Coca-Cola and we could have drank that, but no. He had to order champagne. I do not like dry champagne. I like Asti, all right? That's good. I love sweet champagne if I drink it at all, which I don't really much. But anyway, I don't like dry champagne. I can't stand it, really. I don't like it. So anyway, he bought this thing of champagne. There were 10 of us. and was able to perfectly fill up the 10 glasses, champagne glasses. Each one of us got a full thing of the champagne, and he went, L'chaim, and we said, hey, whatever your name is, happy birthday, many more. And we said, L'chaim, and I don't like it. So I simply chug-a-lugged it, right down the drain. Okay, I mean, right down my throat. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, then I said to him, I could mention his name because you don't know him, Bruce. Okay, I said to Bruce, rest in peace, Bruce. Okay, I said to Bruce, what champagne is this? He said, oh, Piper Heidsieck. I said, well, how much does this cost? He said, $100 a bottle. And then I realized that what I just, like that, it was $10 worth. And of course, then that's another sin, right, Judy? Commit that one. Okay, we're talking about sins today. But the fact is, guess what? I failed to do what? I failed to enjoy it. And referring back to this program today, I failed to what? Contemplate the wine. And maybe I could have enjoyed it if I simply spent a little bit of time trying to, for those of you who are wine connoisseurs and whatevers, some people really get into this kind of stuff. They roll it around their mouth, they sniff it, they think of all that chazarai. Okay, but the fact is, guess what? They enjoy the wine, right? They enjoy the wine, which obviously, a frozen yogurt, yeah, yes, frozen yogurt. Okay, I love frozen yogurt, yes. But the fact is, I missed out on it. So what I'm going to teach you today is something that is extraordinarily spiritual. It actually has a name in Hebrew. It is called kavanah. A kavanah is a contemplative usage of the mind, awakening the soul to contemplate God, or a prayer, or a Hebrew letter even, okay? Some of you might notice that when I'm facing the ark, and I almost look like I might be staring at the Torah scrolls, or I am, because I'm able to visualize, or try to visualize, not always easy, because guess what? My mind wanders to all the stuff I have to be thinking about. After all, I am the rabbi here, right, Susan? Yeah, okay. So a lot of stuff going in my mind, and it's easy for me to get lost somewhere in other stuff. But I try to contemplate, and I see on each scroll, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, God's name. And I try to develop a kavanah using the holy four-letter name of God, which is, of course, Adonai. So we're going to do a contemplation on two ways. Number one is, we're going to, first of all, do a relaxation technique to get us into a relaxed place, including myself. It's been a long day so far. Thank God it's almost over. No, okay. What time is it? Okay. Anyway, see, you can't focus on the end because you get messed up, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. A good friend of ours, unfortunately, a couple of months ago, some of you know what I'm talking about, broke his knee. And he's been suffering for now. He had surgery, and for 6 months he's been going through torture in many ways. But I say to him, and the doctor said it'll take you about almost a year for you to be able to get back, because when people break a bone or something, most doctors, orthopedists say it's about a year. And I say to our dear friend, don't count the number of months left to the end of that year, because you're going to be very depressed. And that's not a positive. Look at how much time you have accomplished things. Look at what you've done. Okay. So there's a lot on this paper which you take home with you. It talks about techniques for practicing contemplative meditation. Some of it I've already touched upon, but I want to get to doing it because time is moving on, of course. Time waits for no one. So what I'm going to ask you to do now for the moment is just put the piece of paper down somewhere. It's not holy in the sense it's not Hebrew writing, so you can put it on the floor. And some of you did raise your hands that you have done meditation before. But if you haven't, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a relaxation technique. It is very simple. I am not hypnotizing you. If I do say to you, you need to give 10% of your income to Temple Sinai, Palm Beach County, and here's the address, 247, okay, then I'm hypnotizing you, okay? And all of you, before you leave the building, you'll be deprived of 10% of your income. But I'm not hypnotizing you. Good idea, right, George? If I could pull that one off? Yeah, very nice, yeah. Amazing if I could do that. Anyway, but I can't do that. I won't do that. However, this is not hypnotizing. This is called a guided meditation, meaning I am guiding you through this, but we are doing this together. It's going to be made up so you know what you're getting into here, And if you've never meditated before, do not worry. And by the way, when we do the controlled deep breathing, if you start to hyperventilate, number one is, guess what? You're not going to die, okay? You just be aware of it, and you'll move through it as we relax further, okay? Some people get like crazy about it, not going into AFib or God forbid, or something like that, okay? Any questions so far? How's everyone doing? Okay? Okay. And by the way, if you fall asleep on me, don't worry, I'm not offended. That sometimes is a byproduct of doing this. Okay. So first of all, we're going to close our eyes in a moment, and we're going to relax. And by simply having our mind say silently, relax to the muscles of our body, we're going to relax the muscles of our body. And then we're going to do some nice deep breathing. But look at me for a second. Some of you breathe properly, and some of you don't. For those of you who have gone through natural childbirth, this is very similar to Lamaze, okay? It is where you are inhaling as much oxygen as possible in a controlled abdominal breathing, it's called. So everyone take either right or left hand, doesn't matter, and place it on your tummy, okay? And notice this is not couples therapy, okay? We're just doing it to ourselves. That was a joke, okay? Anyway. And when we breathe in, okay, breathe in, and there's a stomach go in or out. Breathe in, and breathe out. When you breathe in, did your stomach go in or out? How many breathe in? How many, when you breathe in, your stomach went out? Okay. That is correct abdominal breathing. So George is saying he's wondering what in the world he's doing. Okay, George, breathe in and push your stomach out. And breathe out. It's sort of like, imagine your lungs are a balloon, and underneath your lung you have a diaphragm. The diaphragm is the skin of the balloon. A balloon, if you've ever bought a balloon, let's say in a store, and you're blowing up balloons for a party, you blow, obviously the skin has to go out in order to allow air inside of the balloon. So therefore, when you abdominal and the right kind of breathing, and this is Lamaze, by the way, not that I know it personally, of course, but if you breathe in, your diaphragm comes out, down, your lungs expand to the fullest possible, and therefore your stomach must go out. We are not worried about having a tight stomach. This is not exercise in a gym, okay? So anyway, we'll try this again. Breathe in, and almost push in, breathe out. Breathe in through the nose. Hold and breathe out. Now you don't have to be as noisy as I am, but I'm trying to get across an idea. But again, just like a balloon, okay? A balloon has air in it. When obviously you let the air out of the balloon, it sounds like that, okay? So, we're going to now place both feet flat on the floor. If you want to actually take the shoes off and put flat on the floor, if you feel comfortable, you're welcome to. If not, that's okay. And we are going to close our eyes. And the chairs that you are, stadium seating chairs that you are in, this might be a little bit more difficult than my straight back chair. But if you can, try to straighten your back comfortably. The idea of this is to be comfortable. And move your back slightly forward, but make sure it is comfortable. Place your hands comfortably on the tops of your knees, palms facing downward. With your eyes closed now, we're going to relax our minds, our hearts and bodies, to be able to open ourselves, our inner being up, in order to activate the spiritual energies that reside in this day. And so we're going to begin through this guided meditation. As I will say, relax a muscle of the body. All you need to do, and you will be able to do this, is to say, relax. I'd like to do this beginning at the top of the head, working down through the body to the bottom of the feet. And so we begin by saying to the top of the head, The muscles relax. Relax the muscles around your eyes. And if your eyelids are kind of crunched up in there, just say relax. Relax the muscles down the back of the head. Relax the muscles of your jaw, of your cheeks, and open your mouth slightly. Relax the muscles down the back of the neck, quite often a site, a place of stress. And just to kind of loosen up a little bit more, move your head and your neck slightly, bend slightly to the left. Come back to center. Right. Come back to center. Back. Feels good. Center and down. Come back to center. And if you feel comfortable, just lower your chin a little bit to take off any stress from your neck. And again, only do these things if you feel comfortable. Relax the muscles of the shoulders, your arms, your hands, down to the tips of your fingers. Be aware of your chest and your breathing. Some of you might be breathing quickly, shallow, slow, deep. Just let it go. Almost imagining that vision that I mentioned before of the blue sky. And the clouds are going by, but you are resting in the blue sky above, which is peace, shalom. And so imagine and feel the air coming in through your nose, comfortably out through the mouth, and move down to the abdomen, relaxing the muscles there, your legs, the calves, your feet, down to the tips of your toes. And if your toes are crunched up in your shoes, uncrunch them. Be aware of the interface between the bottom of your feet, if you're wearing shoes, the shoes, and the floor and the earth. And we're going to breathe in and out just 3 times, easily, taking the breaths that we each practiced a few moments ago, nice deep breaths. And then 4 times, when we breathe in, we're going to exhale the word shalom, peace, to place us in truly a place of shalom, peace. And so, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And slowly breathe out. Breathe in. And together, shalom. And shalom. Relax. And when you are ready to, move your fingers a little bit, and then open your eyes. Okay. Nice and relaxed, right? This is good to do today. I bet you didn't think about food, did you, Judy? No, see, I got you distracted. That's good. That's why you eat. So, let us look to page 2. on these papers where it says Psalm 1. There are many places in Scripture where we can, of course, find verses, words for meditation. Many of them, thousands of them. Any word we can choose. But there is a very strong pull toward the beautiful Psalms because they attract us in so many ways, which is why we can find them throughout the prayer book, not just in the early morning service. So we're going to do the following. I'm going to read the Psalm nice and slowly, and what I'm going to then ask you to do is to gravitate toward one of the verses in Psalm 1. And by the way, does anyone know how many Psalms are there in the book of Psalms? What? No, you can't answer that question, Eric. You know. How many, anyone here? 150. By the way, how many books are there in the Hebrew Bible? Eric? 39. The first 5 are the Torah books, Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. But there are 34 other books in the Hebrew Scriptures. I bet I have a class on this, Eric. Yeah, okay. Anyway, this is the first of 150 Psalms, beautiful poems. Most of them are attributed to King David. It's not likely he actually wrote them. They're written in various times and express different experiences of life, as you can see. Probably the most well-known one that Cantor Shear sang so beautifully before the 23rd Psalm. She did a beautiful job. Okay. So again, I'm going to read the verses 1 through 6, and then I'm going to ask you to do the following. Gravitate toward one of them. And each one of them will gravitate toward a different one, based upon what we are going through in our life at this moment in time. And then we're going to spend 5 minutes. Each one of us will then do a contemplation on just that one verse. Look at it, look at its words, say to yourself these questions. Ask yourself, why did you choose that one? What does it mean to you? Why are you being pulled toward it? If you want to even turn that verse into a prayer, you can do that as well. So what we'll do is, again, I'm going to read them. Then we're going to take a nice breath in and then out, and then choose your verse, and then 5 minutes. Okay. Psalm 1. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. 2. But whose delight is in the law of Adonai, and who meditates on God's law day and night. 3. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaves do not wither. Whatever they do prospers. 4. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. 5. Therefore the wicked will not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. And 6. For Adonai watches over the way of righteous, but the way of the wicked will lead to destruction. So choose a verse, and you can't go to another one. You can't, once you chose it, it's yours. It's yours. And we're going to breathe in and out. God bless you. And now we go. Choose the verse that you like. And just read that one over and over, over, and see why it means something to you. If another thought comes into your mind, let it go. Don't hold on to it. Do not label it. Do not give it a name. Just let it go and come back to your verse. Your verse should be like the blue sky. Stay with it. Clouds come by, thoughts come by, images come by, places come by. Just let them drift away. Come back to your verse. We breathe in. So come back to the room. So does anyone want to share which was their verse? And maybe I'll be first to show you. I liked number 3. First of all, I love Psalm number 1. And number 3 particularly because I remember when Judy and I, what is it now, 30 years ago, was Hurricane Andrew. I remember 20 years ago maybe. 30, yeah. And Judy and I were staying at her grandmother's apartment in Century Village, Pembroke Pines, during the hurricane. We were down here on vacation, the hurricane came. Judy was a teacher then, of course I was rabbiing things up north, and so I can get down during vacation time. And anyway, Hurricane Andrew came, so we were here, we didn't leave. And Faye, she's rest in peace, Grandma Faye, was on the 4th floor of the apartment, Century Village. And They were averaging 60-mile-an-hour winds. We actually watched a roof come off of the building across from us. Okay, thank God no one was hurt, but watched it. But the amazing thing is that all of these magnificent, tall, royal palm trees, they don't have roots, okay? They do not have roots. And so they therefore, all of them were knocked over. And they had beautiful lining the entrance into Century Village then, right? And every one of them was over. But the Melaleuca trees, which are not, I'm not going to say they're not beautiful, they are what they are, but all of them stayed up because they have very, very strong roots. And when I was meditating on number 3, I took myself to Century Village in my mind. I went there and watched the hurricane going by with Judy in a Faye, and watching the tree, the royal palms just going down because they lacked the roots. And so to me, this is a very powerful verse because the person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields fruit, and whose leaves do not wither, whatever they do prospers, is because they have deep roots. And they have what is that called? Of course, for me, that's what's called faith, right? And faith is our roots that holds us in the ground so that no matter what comes by, a hurricane, no matter what blows by, we still remain standing, okay? And the fruit in season for me is, take for instance a day like today, when I'm able to take the faith I have and imagine, I'm very blessed really being rabbi here, as I was for almost 50 years in Long Island. Hi guys from Long Island if you're there. And that is, what privilege I have of spending, 12 hours in this one day, whatever we are together, being able to teach and share my spirit, my soul. What a wonderful privilege that is. It's a great privilege being a rabbi. There are not many professions that can say that, although those of you who are teachers, very similar, okay? So that's why I was gravitated to this. So notice, in contemplation, it could be literally, let's say for instance, if I were to have some kind of a board here and simply had the letter Yud, the Hebrew letter Yud, and I said, stare at that Yud for the next 5 minutes. And every time a thought came into your mind, let it go and just stare at that Yud. Okay, that's an image. And obviously, in certain traditions where they have pictures of, let's say in Christianity, Jesus, or in Buddhism, different deities, you stare at the picture, and those are other kind of contemplations in those religions. Is that the letter Yud? And if I were then to tell you what the Yud represents, to contemplate it on various ways. But notice what I did. I took the words, then the words brought in ideas, the words brought in experiences, but notice how it took me to a very special, lovely place within inside of me. Is there anyone who'd like to share your verse a little bit? You don't have to go into all the exposition that I just did, but does anyone have anything you want to share? Janice and then Judy? Okay, Judy can share first.
I also picked number 3.
Okay.
And I thought the tree planted by the stream of water wasn't very biblical or very religious for me, and that it's going to survive for generations.
Oh, I want to get a microphone.
And what you do, it doesn't wither and it survives and it prospers.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be there for the future.
For the future, good, yeah. I'm going to get a microphone because people are streaming. Patrick, is anyone actually streaming?
Yes, 15.
15 or 50? Oh, 15? 50. Wow. Okay, we'll get a microphone. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so give it to Judy if you don't mind. Okay, so Judy, you want to share that? Summarize. Okay.
I picked number 3 because I pictured a stream of water and a tree planted near it, as I have in my community, actually, many of them, and that it remains. The water feeds the tree, and the tree remains, so it's the future, and it's going to live forever, or
now,
for many, many years.
Now I have a leading question, of course. What is the water to you? What would you say? What feeds you for your future? What's it that feeds you?
Well,
not just food.
Water in general.
I know.
Now, I'm going to say this because I'm an old person, but every doctor I go to says, drink more water.
Oh, okay, it is water, literally water.
Drink
Very
more
good.
water, drink
Okay,
more water.
very good. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Janice.
I chose number 2, but the delights is in the law of Adonai, and who meditates on God's laws day and night. It reminds me of myself that I have a huge impact of God in my life, and I meditate every day, every morning when I walk by myself, quietly, in the darkness of my home, and I pray. I pray day and night because I know God is around, and I know God is watching me, and I know God is happy with me, and that makes me very happy, knowing that I have someone that is there to take care of me.
So those words, the Lord, day and night, really was something that came to you too.
Well,
Yeah.
I pray day and night. When I
Yeah.
go to bed, I say the
That's you.
same thing.
There you are.
I always say, thank you, God, for today,
Nice.
period.
So that was verse 2. Anyone else want to share? Anyone? You don't have to. Oh, Brad?
The third verse spoke to me as well. Primarily, it brought to mind an attractive place where I'd like to be. And, you know, the analogy in my mind was that the stream was God's laws, being a good person, doing the right thing, and that tree soaking up all that water creates an attractive place for others to give them shade, to give them fruit.
Like an oasis.
And yeah, like an oasis. And it's something that you hear the saying, people don't remember what you tell them, they remember how you made them feel. And so that was the relation I had to this oasis
Nice.
feeling.
Okay, so let us turn to the next page, Psalm 91. By the way, Psalm 91, Patrick, make sure the people in the back have the papers. I don't know if they're here for this or whatever, thanks, since you're walking around. Pat? Okay, now, Psalm 91 is, in the Hebrew, Tzadi Aleph, is considered to be the most powerful psalm out of all 150. If you are going through a difficult time, let's say a bad time, and you are wondering, well, what do I pray? We can just pray, okay? You don't need anything fancy. God understands English, okay? Actually, I had one person, their spouse had passed away, and this woman didn't know any Hebrew. So she was very upset. She called me up. Rabbi, I'm very, very upset. I said, well, what's wrong? And she said, well, I want to say the Kaddish, but I don't know Hebrew. I only know English. I wonder if God understands English. I think God understands English. Yeah. God is God, yeah. Oh, well. Anyway, Psalm 91 is considered to be the most powerful of all the Psalms. It is actually called the anti-demonic psalm, in that it's actually able to protect us from evil spirits and from bad things happening. Okay. So, I'm going to read through this psalm, and then we're going to do the same thing again. And I think that you'll appreciate this psalm very much. 1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. 2. I will say of Adonai, God is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. 3. Surely God will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. 4. God will cover you with his feathers, and God's feathers, and under God's wings you will find refuge. God's faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. 5. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. 6. Nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 7. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. 8. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. 9. If you say, Adonai is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling. 10. No harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. 11. For God will command God's angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. 12. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. 13. You will tread on the lion, the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. 14. Because God loves me, says Adonai. Comma. Because God loves me, comma, says Adonai, I'll rescue him. I'll protect him, for he acknowledges my name. 15. God will call on me, and I will answer God. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor God. And last, 16. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. You can see how beautiful this psalm is. Really beautiful. And many of us experience the moments of day or night, the terrors that we face in our lives of various sorts, okay? Sometimes they just come upon us in a moment, okay? Other times it builds up to us. We know something is going to be happening, and we don't want it to. So anyway, you probably have chosen your verse already, probably. If not, look at them. You'll notice in some of them, of course, it's really two verses together. They kind of follow, which is okay too. And this time we'll just spend a couple of minutes, not the full 5 minutes, because there's something else I want to do before we conclude this part of our Yom Kippur. So now choose your verse that speaks to you and just rest with it and be with it and incorporate it for a few minutes, sorry. Okay, come back into the room. I chose verse number 4 because I love the talit. And I saw this, God will cover you with the talit. And under God's talit, I will find refuge. And so notice I have, at first I wear another talit underneath my shirt. You can see that one. But I have, this is a bigger one, okay? And then I have the talit that goes around my shoulders. So there's all kinds of talitot, as it says in Hebrew, in plural. And I imagine that God is wrapping itself around me. And that's why I love a talit so very much on these various versions. And those last words in God's faithfulness, first of all, that God is faithful to me. It's one thing to be faithful to God, but God should be faithful to me and watch me. And your shield and rampart, in another psalm, I can't quote it, I don't know, I can't remember where it is, maybe actually in the Torah. I think maybe Moses says this, Adonai Nisi, God is my banner. And I remember as an adolescent, I came across that verse, and I actually typed it out and put it on my wall. The Lord is my banner, because I wear that God, the banner of God. It's sort of like if you imagine here, And if this was written by like a King David, a warrior, because he was a warrior also, when they went into battle in the olden days, or even today actually, I think they would have flags and stuff, right? Is there was a banner with your group on it, and it was your people. And mine would say, God is my banner. And I'd wear that into battle against places that I need to battle against in order to do what? To dream the impossible dream. No, I'm not going to get into that song. Okay, yeah. But notice that song, right? Riley? That song is, that's what it's all about, right? This verse, right? To right the unrightable wrong, to dare where the undare will go, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to go where they dare not go. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to be willing to fight without question or wrong, to be willing to march into hell with a heavenly wrong. And I know that I'll only be true to this glorious quest when my heart will lie peaceful and strong, and I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars. Out of 90C. One verse can awaken so much, right? Yeah. So, anyone else have a verse? You don't have to sing a song either, please don't. Sherry, does anyone have a verse that speaks to you on this part, this song? George, please. Oh, 1 second, George. Oh, hold on. Eric's going to come with the mic. Eric, do I have to play royalties to the guy who wrote that song? I don't know.
Hello.
George, please, son.
I was taken by the combination of 11 and 12 as they operate on my own life and that of my mother's. There's so much more I could say than this time slot is going to be
We're
appropriate
doing fine.
for.
Go ahead.
But I fashion my own prayer each evening, and it has components of this. Because I feel I've been lifted far beyond my capacity and worth, and carried and shielded and protected. And that is, and I say it's your angel, it is you, or it is your delegated angels or ancestors that are in angel form. We are not given to know this, but somehow I feel these factors in my life. My mother said she always felt God likes her. She basically walked through the Holocaust on foot, born in Warsaw as a teen, and the things that happen in her story are beyond comprehension. And I felt that in my life, and I'll spare you all the anecdotes, but in very many ways I fashioned that into my own nightly prayer.
Nice, nice. So see, take this, cut it out, and put it on your wall, right? Yeah, like I do. Anyone else have a verse they'd like to share before we go to the next part? Anyone? No? But see how personal they are, right? But you felt something here. You found something, yeah. Scripture. Oh, Suzanne, and we'll leave. I'm grounded here. George, bring that to her, okay?
I liked number 12. They'll lift you up in their hands so that you won't strike your foot on a stone. And I was very grateful for my arch supports.
She's grateful for our arch supports.
Something great revealed to me with my arch supports. It kept me from falling.
Well, see, there's an example of you can find spiritual meaning to arch supports. Thank you, Susan. But there is meaning, right? They hold us up, right? The feet don't ache. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Susan. Actually, it is very good. Is it? When the Baal Shem Tov was asked, by the way, this is very Zen. If any of you have done Zen, this is very Zen. The Baal Shem Tov, the great founder of the Hasidic movement in the 1700s in Eastern Europe, in Poland, was asked by one of his students, how can I learn from you as to how to relate and have a relationship with God? He said to his students, watch the way I tie my shoes, okay? That is very Zen, okay? Watch the way you tie my shoes. That is because God is within the details, right? As I said last night, God is in everything. right? And therefore, yes, God is in the art supports. A Zen teaching is watch the way I wash dishes, okay? You can wash dishes or you can wash dishes, right? Everything takes what? Contemplation and kavanah. And if you do it right, then you're able to fulfill what you're doing. George, you want to say something? Yeah, please.
Yes, one of the things you mentioned earlier reminded me of something I've heard along the way, so I can't give details, but it was a rabbi on his deathbed and gathered by his students, and they were all, concerned, and one of them says, Rabbi, what is the one thing that you wish you had done that you haven't done, as such a tzaddik? And he says, seen the Alps. They said, that's it? Seen the Alps? And he says, I'm afraid of going before the Almighty and have him ask me, you didn't see my beautiful Alps?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I'll follow up that one, I guess. This story comes to mind. This devout Jewish person is dying, but he's crying. And this person says to him, his student, why are you crying? And he says, because I never became like Moses. And this other person, the student, says to him, yes, but simply worry yourself. And just, if you can be yourself and who you are, be proud of what that is. When I asked my Kabbalah teacher that I study with every 2 weeks as to what will the coming of the Messianic era be like, and he says, well, no one really knows for sure when the Mashiach comes. However, he gave a very interesting answer. He said, when the Messiah comes, we are all going to know who we actually are without the masks that we wear and the roles that we play. And that's really, if you think about it, that's a very powerful statement. Because most of us really have no idea. We're just kind of playing a game in life and going through it and not really knowing who we are. It's like another song, some of you know me well, songs always are popping in my head, but that great song from Chorus Line, who am I anyway? Am I my resume? Am I a portrait of a person I don't know? If you are only your biography that you have handed in to get a job, then you really have no idea who you are. Because hopefully you're much more than just that. You are living to the fullest that you can be. So, anyway, leaving that sidetrack aside, everyone put your papers down, and we'll conclude with another meditation. I thank you all for coming. For those of you, wherever you are, on Long Island, or as all of us know, our dear Betty Adams has a friend from Sweden who actually watches a lot of our programs, so I don't know how to say hasta la vista in Swedish, but oh gosh. Anyway, where's this thing? Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, so we put our feet flat on the floor again, and hopefully we have not unrelaxed too much as we've delved into the beautiful thoughts and images that God has given to us through the book of Psalms. And these words and thoughts and images are always there for us to go back to and find even more through the beautiful pages of our tradition. So we breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in, and breathe out. And now with our eyes closed and hopefully in a relaxed place, we're going to go into our mind and almost using visualizations, almost like a flat screen TV going on, see a picture in your mind of any place where you would like to be right now. Go to that place. It could be any place in the whole world. You don't need a plane to get there or a train. Go to that place and feel that place is a place that you are choosing as your special place. It could be back in your home, of course. It could be in your bedroom. It could be in the kitchen. Try to stay away from the kitchen. It could be anywhere. It could be on a beach, a mountaintop. It could be at the Alps. It could be by a lake. Any place in the world, go to that place now. If you can see that place in any detail, try to see it. And if you can, feel yourself in that place. And even if you can, see yourself in that place. If you cannot, do not be concerned, but rather feeling yourself in that place, your special place is all that is important at this time. This is your place that you can go to anytime because it's not out there somewhere, it's within you. It is your special place of peace, of love, of well-being. It is a place that you can go to when things are becoming rattled. See the place. And if you want to place any loved ones there, you may do so as well, but you don't have to. And again, if you do, if you can see them in any detail whatsoever, that's nice too, but certainly not required. Feel that place, move into it, and feel it around you. The place feels so good. Its vibrations fill your being and brings you harmony, brings you peace, brings you love, brings you hope, brings you faith, brings you Hashem, God's presence, which is blessing you on this day. As the picture of this place begins to leave you because the TV is going off, so to speak, the place is still within you as we offer our sound of shalom. Yivarechecha Adonai vayishmerecha. Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. When you're able to, move your hands slightly, open your eyes, and may the blessings of God be upon all of us here and those streaming wherever you are, that you have spent this day of Yom Kippur as a day on which you are finding shalom, peace of mind and heart and body and soul as you take upon this holy work of becoming a holy person. Amen. Thank you, everyone. 3:30, we begin our afternoon service.